You won't believe what I just watched on the All-22 tape. The Dallas Cowboys came back from a 21-0 deficit against the Philadelphia Eagles, and honestly, after breaking down every single play, I'm actually feeling better about this team than I did before the game started. I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. What's up, Cowboys? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Cowboys. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Americas team. Let me walk you through how this game became an absolute comedy of errors in the first quarter, because understanding what went wrong makes the comeback even more impressive. It all started with the Cowboys getting the ball first, which honestly isn't ideal when you're at home and your crowd is pumped up, but whatever. They moved the ball down the field pretty well and got to 4th and 3 at the 50-yard line. Dak Prescott threw an incomplete pass to Javonte Williams. I thought Dak needed to have a better ball there, but you know what? That happens. I didn't mind going for it on 4th down, just wasn't a great play. Philadelphia responded with a 7-play, 50-yard touchdown drive. Pretty good game script for them, honestly. But this is where things started getting absolutely wild. On the kickoff, the Cowboys had a penalty to put them back at their own 19-yard line. Then they went 3 and out. They had a drop on 3rd and 6 to CeeDee Lamb, and then things really started falling apart. The next drive, it's 7-0, and you get Philadelphia into 2nd and 16. They have a 2-yard run to Saquon Barkley. Now it's 3rd and 14. They throw a 4-yard pass to Cooper, 4th and 10. Philly is punting from the 24-yard line, and I honestly don't know why the Cowboys were so aggressive trying to block that punt. You had the Ryan Flournoy play, which was just frustrating on so many levels. The thing is, Flournoy tipped the ball, and that shouldn't have been a penalty. The NFL has actually come out and said as much. But here's what really gets me. It wasn't even Flournoy that got called for the penalty. It was Maris Lufau. And Lufau basically punched the punter in the head, so there basically could have been a personal foul called anyway. Lufau deserved a penalty even if they would have reviewed the Flournoy situation. 3 plays later, it's 3rd and 10, you get off the field, and Jadeveon Clowney lines up off sides. I mean, come on. So that drive put Philadelphia up 14-0. This was a chance to settle things down, and honestly, it started off pretty well. First down, you get a 20-yard run to Javonte Williams. Then you get a deep pass to CeeDee Lamb where CeeDee just kind of lost it in the lights or something. You get a big play to CeeDee Lamb over the middle of the field, but he fumbles it going down. Now, his elbow was down. I think CeeDee knew pretty quickly that he was down, but it was still way closer than you would expect. It was kind of a microcosm of CeeDee Lamb's game where just nothing felt right. And then on the very next play, because you're down so many running backs and you don't trust Jaden Blue, you're putting Kevontae Turpin in the backfield and he fumbles the ball running into the back of Tyler Gayton. That's where it truly started to feel like this just wasn't going to be your game. The ball wasn't bouncing the right way, all the luck was happening against you, and on top of that, you weren't executing well. But we're not done. It's 14-0. Let's continue. The Cowboys have Kevontae Turpin fumble, right? Philadelphia gets themselves into a hole. 2nd and 20 from Philly's 40-yard line. You give up an 8-yard run to Tank Bigsby when it was so clear they were running the ball. An 8-yard run on 2nd and 20 doesn't feel like a big deal, but it got Philadelphia into 3rd and somewhat manageable. If that was 3rd and 17 or 3rd and 18, they're probably running a screen or just running a draw. Instead, they take a deep shot down the field to Devonta Smith. He gets 41 yards, and 2 plays later, they score a touchdown. Now the score is 21-0, and it feels like it's completely out of reach already. And we're not even at the bottom yet. At this point, you just feel like Lamb fumbled, you somehow recover the ball, you somehow don't actually have a fumble there, but you just felt like it's coming. The next play, Turpin turns the ball over, and then the Eagles get the ball and are moving it. You think you have them bottled up, then they're able to get a first down after being down 1st and 20. It was another situation where you had them, then you let them go, and right after you let them go, they immediately score a touchdown. You feel broken. You feel like it's not going to work.
There's still 11 minutes and 30 seconds when the Cowboys start their next drive in the second quarter. So as bad as that first quarter went, you still have time. And honestly, that drive started out really well. Kevontae Turpin did a really nice return. The Cowboys started the ball at the 40. They had a Malik Davis run. They had a couple 5-yard passes. And you even overcame some penalties. Jake Ferguson false start, but you're able to overcome that. You hit a deep ball to George Pickkins, and then you hit Jake Ferguson on a beautiful throw up the seam where I thought he could have done a better job trying to reach out into the end zone to score. That ends up being a huge play because on 1st and goal, they run a direct snap from shotgun, which I don't know why you're running out of shotgun in the Wildcat with Javonte Williams. Doesn't get anything. On 2nd and 1, you have a Tyler Gayton false start. So now it's 2nd and goal from the 5.5 or so, and you feel like you probably can't burn another play to run the ball, so you're throwing it out of shotgun, and that is the interception to Lamb, and the game just felt completely over at that point. The Cowboys offense felt broken. You finally had your best moment in the game, and it just all disappeared right in front of your eyes. With all of that, the Cowboys were able to get a stop on the next drive. They're down 21-0. They have this big play to Javonte Williams. Now they're in the red zone. 1st and 10 from Philadelphia's 13. Tyler Gayton gets a tripping call, so now it's 1st and 25 from Philadelphia's 28. It feels like this thing is going to be over. Then you get a 10-yard pass to Lamb, you get a 17-yard pass to Jake Ferguson, and on the next play, George Pickkins scores from 1 yard out, and you're right back into the game. As bad as everything went, and I mean almost everything went wrong, that drive right before halftime was enough to at least give them some momentum going into halftime where they felt like they could maybe steal this game. Here's why I think this whole experience was actually heartening. It feels like the Cowboys were the more consequential of these two teams. It felt like it was the Cowboys hurting themselves and the Eagles kind of taking advantage, but not necessarily that they were the better of the two teams. By the second half, if you go back and rewatch this game, I think the Cowboys were the more talented of the two teams on the field, and it was showing. Going back and watching the tape, I had a similar conclusion. The Cowboys had to play this game on hard mode. The Eagles got to play, for a lot of it, on easy. Look, the Eagles definitely suffered some injuries that affected the game later on, but the Cowboys suffered some injuries of their own. They lost their left tackle at a certain point, and I thought Gayton was playing fantastic football outside of those penalties. Then suddenly he gets hurt, Nathan Thomas comes in, and they don't miss a beat. On top of that, your number one wide receiver, Lamb, has one of the worst games I think I've ever seen him play, and you're going against probably the best defense in football, at least organizationally, coaching-wise, and statistically. The fact that you were able to do what you were able to do proves the point that the Cowboys put themselves into this terrible hole and then came out of it. The Cowboys were dominating the line of scrimmage at certain points for more than 3/4 of this game. Saquon Barkley never got started. It wasn't like he suddenly stopped. Go watch Tyler Booker versus Jaylen Carter. The Cowboys got plays from almost all their big players except for Lamb. Without Lamb contributing and having a huge day, you were able to get what you needed out of Pickens, out of Dak, out of Javonte Williams, and ultimately Ferguson, who didn't start out great but had some really great plays at key moments. On the other side of the ball, that defense was in control of the game in the second half. 107 yards in the final 8 drives for Philadelphia. That's about 13.5 yards per drive, and 45% of those yards came on 2 plays. If CeeDee Lamb has even a B- game, the Cowboys probably win this game by double digits. If he catches that ball or runs a better route on the Dak Prescott interception, you probably score a touchdown there. If he doesn't drop the touchdown from the 1 yard line, you go up 7 with 2 minutes left. If he catches that third down on the second series, you don't go 3 and out and allow them to score again. My memory serves, there was another third down where he dropped a pass in the middle of the field and it made the Cowboys have to settle for a longer field goal. They missed a field goal in the second half too. It wasn't like everything broke their way in the second half. A lot still went against them, but over time, the talent started to win out.